there are times that we don't know what to do. I mean, I would say many times we don't exactly know what to do. Now read that verse again. So what does the Holy Spirit do, Richard?
Speaks.
He speaks?
Testifies.
Yeah, I mean, go back to your verse 8:26.
Oh, okay.
He intercedes.
He prays for what we he intercedes. He knows what we're trying, what our real needs are.
Mm-hmm. If we commit, half the time we don't even know what our needs are. Right? I mean, we can't quite figure out what the problem is. I mean, I don't know why I can't get my grandkids to go to bed at night. I haven't figured that out yet. I don't know if the Holy Spirit will give me the answer, but I'm just saying there are some things that sometimes there's a need that I can't see because I've been blinded by prejudice. I've been blinded by something, and but I'm searching out the truth. And I searched the truth out about what I'm about ready to preach in the next hour. I mean, I've really sought the Lord to give me understanding of the concept that I'm about to preach. I mean, I really want to know which is it. I mean, I really want to know what direction that I need to go. And of course, the sad part about this is good men have different opinions. And so you really have to seek out. But I have needs that need to be met. And if the Holy Spirit will give me a sense, maybe you need to go this direction. Maybe you need to do this first. Maybe you need to listen to this. Maybe you need to go. Why is it sometimes you'll pick up a book that's exactly what you need at the time that you need it? Why is it sometimes I'll preach a sermon and you'll say, that's exactly what I needed. The Holy Spirit guides us and directs us and helps us, and He's trying to give you the insight. It's there in your face. We need to make the application and do that. All right, and number 9, Acts 13:4. Acts 13:4.
13:4?
Mm-hmm. I did say that, right?
I thought you said 13:9.
I'll go back and look I'll run the tape back and see.
It's 4.
It's verse 4.
Okay, so they being sent forth by the Holy Ghost departed unto Seleucia, and from thence they sailed to Cyprus.
Okay, so number 9 is He sends workers. He sends workers. The Holy Spirit sends workers. Well, now how in the world is the Holy Spirit going to send workers if He's a spirit? You hear a missionary says, well, the Spirit sent me to Brazil. That's possible. The Lord sent me to Rivers of Joy Baptist Church. I would have never got here if it had been for Bob Temple. As I said, the deacon said no, and Bob said yes, and I'm here. I'm not your, the other deacon. And it was so funny. The day before, he told me no. We don't want you here. And the next day, Bob called, and Bob says, I'll come and bring Charles with me. Now, go figure. And I'm saying is, if the Holy Spirit says go, and sometimes you have to determine. The Holy Spirit also works through others. Sometimes the Holy Spirit will tell Bob, I know Bob knows me better than anybody else, which is amazing to me, and he's more honest with me than anything else. And he says, I think that you are what that church needs. When I'm saying, are you kidding me? And sometimes a person will say, the Lord is leading me to go to Brazil, and they're saying, are you kidding me? why would he send me to some place like Brazil? I can't speak Portuguese. Well, then if you have a sense, then you learn Portuguese. You learn the culture. You learn what's going on. So God, he helps you and guides you. And then once you get here, you got to figure out, why did he want me here? And he goes step by. In other words, you got to take the first step before he'll give you the answer to the second step. In other words, he calls you, and then he expects you then to continue to work and do that. So then he does call. And Jimmy, next is Revelation 22:17, and number 11 is John 16:7, and number 12 is 1 Corinthians 12:11. So y'all three will have the last three verses. In
What was
the verse is Revelation 22:17.
22:17.
Well, the Holy Spirit does a lot, doesn't
He
he?
does. You give 11 and 12, I kind of get those guys.
11 is John 16:7, and number 12 is 1 Corinthians 12:11. Jimmy?
Mine's the first verse,
Yes.
right? And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great poor that sitteth upon many waters.
He calls. He calls us. You've heard me say, well, the Lord called me to preach. Now ask me, how can you know someone calls you to preach? Well, the Lord called me to come up. I hear Bill say that all the time. I bet he's questioned it about 13 times. He said, I believe the Lord called me to come to Rivers of Joy Baptist Church. I knew it. And I hope the Lord, and you're saying, how do I know that? After I got here, you're saying after the first week. Well, I don't know. Yes.
I read the wrong one.
Okay, go ahead. Shows you what I know.
Okay, hang on here. Here we go.
How do you know the difference between being called and
I know
something
Yes.
you desire to do?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Correct. I mean, that is exactly correct. Wait a minute, I'll tell you. Go ahead. I'm ready.
And the Spirit and the bride say, Come.
Oh, okay, that
And
sounds
let
better.
him, that Spirit say, Come. And let him that is hopeless come, and whosoever will, let him take the water of life freely.
So he says to come. The God gives a call to come. And I think it's important. I think that when God calls you to do something, it will be affirmed by someone else. In other words, if the Lord calls me to, for instance, like in my case here, for instance, how do I know the Lord really wanted me here and called me here? I think He affirmed it, number one, through Bob, because Bob wanted me to come. So, secondly is, after I got here, thirdly is the vote was taken, affirmed that God called me. Dorothy got it wrong. She wasn't praying right.
And that was on November the 1st.
It was on November the 1st.
That's when the church started, and Miss King said.
And so, in other words, the affirmation is, if I sense a call to do something, there's going to be an affirmation. The affirmation was Bob. The affirmation, secondly, was the vote. And the third affirmation is, I'm still here. And so it may not be immediately, and though I may not see all the results I want. Now, I have a desire, so I have a desire I have a lot of desires that I would like to do. but it's not been affirmed. You know, I have a desire to, I mean, I have a lot of desires, but I haven't seen the affirmation of it yet. I haven't seen from that someone else affirming that to me. If I desire to start a church somewhere else, the affirmation would be God is working in the lives of people in that area that desire to see a preacher come to start a work there, and the word gets out. You know, we are this. We don't have a good Baptist church here, and we've been praying that God would send us someone to come, and that there's an affirmation that maybe that's where the Lord is sending me. So the affirmation comes through someone else.
It's
Now-
not instinct.
What?
It's not instinct.
Well, instinct and getting that, for instance, like, now Bill could have said, I think God wants me over here. What affirmed that is I wanted him over here. Oh, was that weird? But I'm just saying this, if Bill came over here and I said, Bill, I don't want you here. I could have said that. I mean, I would have never said it. And he says, well, the Lord's called me here. Well, I'm saying, well, the Lord hadn't told me that yet. So the Lord has to affirm. He affirms. He helps us understand. He affirms His calling by giving us indication that that's what He wants me to do. No, instinct. My instinct is based upon my own cognitive thinking.